Hello, everybody. This is the Guys Podcast, and today I have a special guest. I am so honored, and I feel so privileged. I mean, we all feel privileged to have somebody in that's doing some great, respectable work within this dating atmosphere, as you would say. Today we are joined by Anita Stoudemire. How are you, Anita?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, and it's our pleasure. How was your day today?
Beautiful. The weather here is beautiful. I harvested the last of my vegetables, even though it was like 85 degrees. But yeah, I'm good. I'm closed out for the season.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Anita, I just want to introduce you to our audience and to the platform. You've written some books. I see you have a platform where you help people meet the right ones within like the dating, within the foundation of dating. So, can you just please just tell us a little bit about yourself, your education background, um, in your Better Love movement?
hmm So, my name is Anita Stoudemire. I am currently a licensed professional counselor. I have a private practice here in Virginia, so that's what I do full time. But in 2019, I started my platform on Instagram called Better Love Movement with the intention of helping women. So that's how my platform originally started was I have a passion for helping women, for growing them up and mentoring them and guiding them to be wonderful, beautiful, feminine women. A lot of the women I work with want to be married, they want to have children, so I help guide them toward those goals. But that's how my platform started was just creating content around femininity, around polarity. I've had some amazing mentors in my life, one of them being Dr. Pat Allen. She turns 90 this month, and she is still a practicing psychotherapist, which is like wild. But just continuing her work and working with women. And what's interesting is now my platform has grown exponentially, but I actually have 60% of the people who look at my content are male. And what happened was I created some content that went viral and it spoke to the men. And that's how it came to be that I started talking to men and women. But my platform was originally begun to help women, to guide and mentor them on this journey because we don't have that anymore. Um, a lot of people tell me, these are things my mother never told me, my grandmother never told me. I had all of that. I had all of that. I had a hypergamous mother. I had a hypergamous grandmother. I was raised by men. So I had a lot of education when it comes to men and who they are and how they operate, and then how to be a beautiful, feminine, hypergamous woman. So it shocks me when I hear people say, yeah, nobody's talked to me about this. Nobody has guided me. So that is my intention. I still have a heart for women. I would love to speak directly to women between the ages of 18 and 30. I want to catch them before they make a lot of mistakes because a lot of women out here are making a lot of mistakes. Um, but right now, I speak to people who are between 30 and 50, men and women. But I love what I do. I absolutely love being a therapist full time, and then I love doing this part time.
I love how you said you want to catch them earlier because I'm really focused on correcting the behaviors of the youth, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of women don't understand that their youth is within that age, right, range.
hmm
I
hmm
always say the younger a woman is, the more optionality she has, the more she can
Right.
exercise her hypergamy, right? So that's
Yep.
very important. So, other than being influenced by your mentor and and her helping you get into the space and inspiring you, what else inspired you to want to do what you're doing today?
I've been married. I have three grown children. I went through a divorce, so that was part of it. I really want to keep people from making, my apologies.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right, hopefully we can edit that out. I really want to keep people from making mistakes that I made, that other people I saw make in their marriages. So that's definitely been a part of it as well. Having gone through a marriage, I always tell people my biggest mistake in my marriage was choosing the wrong person. There are other mistakes that I made. That wasn't the only one. But that definitely, and now at this ripe old age, I've learned that 90% of relationship success is in who you choose. And I
Okay.
didn't fully understand that until going through a divorce. I was like, oh, so probably should have chose someone that was better for me. So I preach that a lot. 90% of your relationship success is about who you choose. If a man is a good man, it has nothing to do with you. If a man is a bad man, it has nothing to do with you. But you need to decide who you choose. That's what has everything to do with you. Because I see a lot of women who choose great men and they attribute it to them. I'm like, no, 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 that's just who he is. But a lot of women date bad men and they, oh, well, no, no, no. I mean, you just shouldn't have chosen him. Like, but that's who he is. That's who he is. So just knowing the difference is very important. And then, of course, I'm a big believer in radical responsibility and radical accountability. And that is something that men and women really struggle with today.
Definitely, definitely. Do you think women tend to struggle with accountability a little bit more than men, or do you think it's
As a
equal?
gender, yes, they do. And it's because they take things so personally, right? It's hard for them to pull apart who they are and what they do. They see those things as fused together. So when you say, hey, I'm not a big fan of chicken, I notice you make a lot of chicken. Oh, so you're saying I'm a bad person. You're saying I'm a bad girlfriend. You're saying I'm a bad wife. No, I just don't want as much chicken. Like they really struggle to pull apart their behavior and their inherent worth and value, like who they are. And so I have to remind people of that all you do is pull those two things apart. The person speaks to the behavior. I want you to critically think about that and then give them a well thought out response, as opposed to those two things are together and you react. You react from whatever it is they said. But yes,
Definitely,
and then women also suffer from toxic shame. Some of that we got honest from just how we're socialized. So women have a lot of toxic shame, and I teach them about that. That again, there shame can be appropriate, and I think more women need it. Like, shame can be an appropriate thing, but toxic shame is what's inappropriate, and it's what in their brain signals, there's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, and all of that. That's more of a toxic shame response. But yes, should you go out wearing that outfit? Should you go to your man's, family wedding event in that outfit? Like shame will tell you, no, 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 that's not the place for that. And that's a good thing, right? That'll keep you from making choices and making mistakes. There should be some shame attached to certain things.
Anita, you're such a breath of fresh air. Having you here, like you could say the things that I want to say, but I get
Right.
like ridiculed for. So having a woman say these things, I'm like, Anita, get them. And Anita, I could be here all day asking you questions because I can see early on that you're very articulate, you're very intelligent, and you're very insightful. And you've been married,
Thank
right?
you.
A lot of women
Mm-hmm. Yep.
are having these conversations and they have microphones. They've never been married. They've never been beside a man who loves, admires, and respects them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little? And I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't kill me because I'm just like. But Anita, can you talk a little bit about women making bad mate choices? Because here's the thing. Here's
Yeah.
my philosophy, right? I always say women have two dating strategies, right? Well, mating strategies. When they're younger, they mate for biology. As they get older, they date for stability. So having a
Mm,
father and having guidance can actually fast track a woman quicker to date for stability. Even we all know when
mm,
you look at the data and research around birth control, women tend to date differently while on birth control in comparison to when they're off birth control. So a lot of times the guys that they go for are guys that have other options. The guys are the
Yep.
most handsome, the guys who are the most successful. And when the man has optionality, he's going to exercise those options. So
Mm-hmm.
we all know nature wants us to procreate with the best genes, but that might not be the
Yeah.
best choice. So Anita, can you really speak to women making bad choices early on when they're still in their prime, and what those women can do better to actually have a better insight on how to pick the right man, and especially women who are not raised with a strong masculine father or any
Um,
other male figure that's in her area?
so the male figure or the father does make all the difference. I often tell people the father is what gives the daughter the accountability and her self-esteem. Those are the two things that I got from having a very strong masculine father. Is he told me who I was and what my worth and value was, along with my heavenly father. But he also held me accountable at every turn. Every time something went wrong. Well, what did you do? What was your part in this? What could you have done differently? And so many women have never heard that, not from their mother or their father. And that's another reason why they may struggle with accountability. But yes, in my world, there are two types of strategies. There's short-term mating strategy and there's long-term mating strategy. This comes from David Buss's book, which I am
I
rereading
love that book,
because
Evolutionary Psychology.
yeah,
Love that.
yep,
Love that.
yep, yeah. So I'm finishing up a book that I'm working on. But I wanted to be able to reread it, get that information in, and speak to it in the book that I'm writing right now. And it's basically teaching people how to hack their evolutionary nature. It is possible. It is possible. But for a woman, she has to be willing to what I call visit the land of logic and rationale. So women live in the land of feelings and emotions. Men live in the land of logic and rationale, right? And if we want to become a good integrated man or woman, we have to know how to visit those other worlds. So men need to come over to feelings and emotions, and women need to go over to logic and rationale. And that's how we're going to hack some of that evolutionary system. We're going to say, yes, there's something about this man, his height, his broad shoulders, the square of his jaw, the way he smells, something about him that's making me want to go over there to him. But I'm going to visit the land of logic and rationale. And I'm going to run it through that. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to do it. So even though I feel a pull, I feel a draw to this person, I have to be willing to consciously say, let me go and visit the land of logic. And if what I have written down or what I have listed, it doesn't make sense, then I'm not going to do it. We don't have enough people doing that today. So they're either going completely on emotions or feelings, the vibe, I'm always telling people you can't build a 50-year marriage on vibes. Like
Definitely.
you have to be compatible, committed. You have to check that person's character. You have to know how to communicate effectively. You have to have similar conflict styles. There should be a connection. There's just so many other things that you have to have. And like you said, the evolutionary psychology says, it's just a thing, right? It's just a thing. I can't necessarily control it. I don't believe that because I believe humans are rational and logical. We have the ability to plan, to think, all of these different things. We're just not utilizing it. So when people make these comparisons to animals, like I hate that because I'm like, no, we're not animals. Yes, we have the ability to be monogamous. Again, it has to be a conscious decision. So the fact that, men can't be monogamous, it's just impossible. No, it is possible, but it has to be a conscious decision. And women are always in their feelings. No, I'm quite the integrated woman. I am not impressed by your mouth game. I'm not impressed by your compliments. Okay, well, that's cute, but that's not going to make me rip my panties off.
Nope.
Not at all. I'm going to make sure it makes sense before my heart even comes out to play.
Anita, like I
So,
said again, I could be here all day. Man, you're speaking to so much, and it's so impressive because I read the book that you were just mentioning, Dr. David
yep.
Buss. I've been following his work. Rollo
Yeah.
Tomasi, uh,
Hmm.
a lot of people. So I have a little pushback, but I'm gonna let them go. I just wanted to say,
Okay.
I believe in, nurture is very it plays a part, but I think nature overrides nurture because nurture you're taught, right? You're nurtured, but nature is something that you don't have to be taught to do. So it's easier to do something that you were born to do, you're biologically wired to do, than to do something that you were taught to do. So I would say a woman being hypergamous is doing better socioeconomically, right? Dating up. Women want men who are protectors, providers. So they are going to date a man that's intelligent, that has wisdom, knowledge, right? A man that's taller, stronger, that can protect her through times of danger. The same thing with a man, right? Like men weren't, and we could get into this later, but I was gonna say like men, we were not built to be monogamous. So I've had episodes talking about this, and women would come on and debate me on this, and we would go back and forth. And I we could talk about this later, Anita,
Hmm.
Miss Stoudemire, but I strongly don't feel, but I believe based upon biology, men are not built to be monogamous. But I will let Tiff and Omar chime in. I know they're gonna like beat me up if I don't let them, come in here.
Tiff, you can take it.
Okay. Well, hello, Miss Anita. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I am so happy to have you here. So, I have delved into your Instagram and watched many of your YouTube videos. So I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, who's this woman? Let me see what she's about, what she's speaking. Um, and so I was talking to my screen, talking
Yep.
to
That's
video.
yep.
um, but I want to switch gears a little bit, and hopefully you can help shed some light on this. Um, you know, a lot of women feel, especially nowadays, that the men in their lives expect them to be their end all be all, to carry all
Mm.
of the emotional baggage, to be their mothers, to be their nurses, their
Mhm.
teachers, their maid, chef, and sex slave and everything else, right? And it seems like there's an expectation. And in one of your videos specifically, you talked about stop mothering men. So I just wanna pick your brain about that. What does that mean, and why is it so important, especially now where we're seeing a shift in masculine and feminine energy between the genders? Why is that so important? Like in a healthy relationship, how can it make or break a relationship in 2025?
Miss Stoudemire, remember you're on our side. So
Okay. So we want to maintain polarity. And I deeply believe this because I lived it. We want to maintain polarity. I'm interested in a king, right? I'm a queen and I'm interested in a king. And a king rules an entire kingdom. There are a lot of things that I do for my king, but I am not his mother. I do not nurture him. That's the biggest piece of pushback that I get from men is that women do not nurture grown men. Women nurture things that cannot take care of themselves. They nurture babies, they nurture plants and pets. I believe that my king is strong and he is competent, that he does not need my nurturing, especially if he received it from his mother or his grandmother or his auntie or the female person who raised him. If he wants to maintain a level of polarity with me, if let me break it down for y'all. If he want to get the drawers, if he want to regularly get the drawers, I cannot be his mother. I cannot maintain sexual attraction to a man that I am nurturing, okay, that I am his mother. So if he wants us to maintain to be lovers, he has to be strong, he has to be competent, he has to be able to manage his kingdom. and I'm going to be a great support to him. There are a lot of things that I do for a man. But when they hear me say I do not nurture a man, and let me tell you who's given the pushback: men who have a mother wound.
Yes.
Men who have a great mother, they're like, yep, I need it right. Like, because they already been mothered. They're not looking for their woman to do the mothering. Okay. And it's the same with men saying, oh, I need a woman to be my peace. I want you to work that out within yourself and with your God. Okay. And I am not going to do anything to disrupt the peace that you bring, but I'm not going to give you any peace either. Okay. So I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected. I'm going to be logical and rational at times. I'm going to have calm conversations with you. I'm not going to do anything to disrupt your peace. But to think that you're going to come with chaos and I'm going to turn it into peace, that ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen, baby. Work on your inside. Work on that first relationship with God. Get yourself straight, get your purpose, get your passion, get your mission, right? That's what men need. That's what they need to be on. And if anything, you're my strength. You're not my daddy, but you're my strength. You're my covering.
Yes.
So that's what I expect. This idea of a man coming to take, that is against the natural order. Men penetrate the world just like they penetrate a woman. The man is the giver.
Yep.
He is the giver of his seed to me, and I multiply what he gives me and I give it back multiplied. So women are natural receivers. That's how our body is made. A man is a natural giver. That's why men need to be needed. So yes, the whole, I'm going to come to you and you're going to be my all in all. No, I'm looking for a king. I'm looking for a king, and he should have his round table of men. He should have mentors. He should have that's who he going to go to. You're not going to, bring me all the problems. No. I need you to go to your circle of men, go to your people, right? You don't bring that to me. But men have changed. they've changed quite a bit since I was coming up.
Yes.
And they need more than I've ever known a man to need. They need so much more. But again, it's a lack of healthy parenting. So if they didn't have a good mother, if they didn't have a father in the home at all, that's where that's coming from.
You're so right. I love what you said about men needing to have a group of mentors or other men, like-minded men that they respect. I'm a big believer in not going to your woman with your problems, because women are not equipped to handle masculine problems, because we live two different existences. But 100, and me and Omar was saying yesterday, Ms. Dalmeyer, that men, we have to feel like we're needed. The difference between a woman that wants a man and needs a man yields different results. Oh, you're up.
I'm doing great. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, for sure. Mhm. Okay. I'll give you every other word but that. Like I said, there are a lot of things that a woman get, does and gives to her man, right? I'll give you support. I'll give you respect. I'll give you love. I'll give you any other word, right? And I agree with you. A man has a vision, he has a passion or a purpose for himself. And it is most definitely my assignment to help him. That's why I love the help meet, right? And, or to come under the mission, the submission. I don't have a problem with that. But I am going to save that word for my babies, for my plants, and for my pets. So I tell men, I'll give you any other word but that word. Hmm. Yeah, right. And I'll even give you a woman nurtures the relationship, right? Because even the relationship, if left, if we just leave it alone, it will not grow or become better. I can nurture the relationship, but the actual man, that's the part that, like I said, I
And
just reserve that. Yeah.
no, and you know what's so I'm a firm believer because I kind of agree with you in terms of, well, like he said, the word is the word, but I
Yeah.
believe men I believe women should date men who are older, men who don't need to be built. Because I always say, women don't build, they move in, right? Women would much rather deal with a man that's already established, a man that can lead, a man that has more experience, more competence. Women don't date their equal, right? Women date their superior. So me and Omar was actually having a discussion. I have a 5 year old from a previous divorce. I was married,
Hmm.
have a baby girl. And I was telling me and her mother were having a discussion, and I was saying, I don't believe in dating. It's husband or
Hmm.
nothing. Don't bring a
Yep.
man to my house telling me that that's your boyfriend. I don't want to hear it. And I strongly believe that it's upon the man to actually introduce their child to who they're going to marry, because there's a
Mm.
silent contract between men, right?
Right.
So with that, and also too, I love what you said, Ms. Stoudemire, as far as not being the peace, but as men, we just don't want our peace disturbed because
That's it.
you have to already be who you are. Yeah, you have to be already who you are before you get into the relationship. You shouldn't allow a relationship to make you. It should add to you,
Hmm.
right? I'm coming
Hmm.
in with I'm already successful. I'm already emotionally intact. I'm spiritually intact. I'm capable. I just need a woman to come in so that we can create a nuclear family and have children and make the black community greater, right?
Hmm.
So I love what you said about not being at peace, but you're not there to take away the peace. That's very
That's
important
it.
to me. And
And it's just
Miss,
like women who say happy, right? They
yes,
say, I want a man to make me happy. No, no, no. That's an inside job.
I
A
always say
man can, yeah, he can make you happier,
yes, yes.
but a woman who's entering a relationship unhappy, that's a recipe for disaster.
And they use that as an excuse to leave a relationship. I think relationships
Yep.
should be dutiful, right? You have a
Yep.
responsibility and a duty to stay married, even if your happiness is not there. Happiness is temporary, it's transient, it comes and goes. But I know Tiff.
Yep.
Go ahead, Tiff. You're gonna kill. Wait. Oh, you have another question, bro? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Ideally, yes. Ideally, I'm not saying always, but ideally, yes. No. I'm listening to you. Yeah. Hmm. Oh no. So yeah. When I was speaking to that, I'm speaking specifically to his financial situation. Him being able to, not emotionally or spiritually. Yeah, definitely. No, but she did say that she is peaceful. She's not going to, right? She is
Yeah,
peaceful.
I'm not going to disturb your peace. Yeah, I'm not. Whatever peace you bring, I'm not disturbing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he brings his own peace,
Hmm.
and I bring my own peace. He brings his happiness, and I bring my happiness. Right?
Gotcha.
We know how to do that for ourselves. And yes, right. And I strongly encourage that I always tell people that find someone who's genuinely happy.
Mm.
And if you're genuinely happy, it has no other place to go but to multiply.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, of course, of course. And wait, Omar, you're kind of delayed, bro. Wait, you're kind of delayed. You want to exit and come back? It's like very delayed. I can hear you clear. Yeah, it's like you're like visually is delayed, but audio wise, I can hear you. All right. No, you know what? Or it might be. I don't know. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, good. We
Oh,
lost him.
it's okay. It's
We
okay.
lost him after all.
It's okay. It's okay.
He'll be back.
And Miss Stoudemire, I want to say too, having someone of your caliber here is such a blessing. It's such a privilege and a treat. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, just having you here and listening to you, it reiterates a lot of the things that I read and have to battle against when I'm talking to other people. So just having a strong, a beautiful woman on the inside and out come and speak to your truth and what you read because you're very educated. I want to say I admire that greatly. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I'm humbled to have you here. I really am. Like time is worth more than anything, and I'm from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me. Let's hope it rubs off
Yes,
because
definitely, definitely.
our younger women, they are really, really
I
struggling
was.
and they have all the wrong role models.
Oh man,
One of the things I was actually happy to see over this past week is the amount of women that pushed back on the Cardi B situation. That actually made me really proud. That I'm like, whew, because I thought they was gonna let that slide. I was like, oh no, don't let this slide, y'all. Don't,
and these are our role
don't
models.
let,
Unfortunately, Miss Stoudemire, these are our role models.
yep.
A
But they
young
didn't.
girl will listen to Cardi B
Yeah,
before her own father or mother. It's sad.
I know. But
It's
a
so
lot
sad.
of women have been pushing back, and I'm proud of them. Finally, as the great quote says, evil prevails when good people do nothing.
Mm.
Mm,
We have to speak out. We have to speak up about this type of behavior.
definitely, you're
So I'm
absolutely right.
glad to see a lot of women. They made videos. They was like, nah, this is trash.
No,
I
you're
was like,
absolutely
thank you.
right. You're 100% right.
So maybe the
Tiffany.
tide is turning.
Yes, ma'am. It's like waiting for a stock price to hit. You're like, what is she gonna say?
Right.
What are people gonna say? Oh man.
Yep.
Tiffany, go ahead. I know you was. Asking Miss Stoudemire some questions.
Yeah. So a little bit of background. I was married 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We actually grew up together,
Mm-hmm.
like on the same street. So very, you know, similar backgrounds and upbringing, cultures and values. And then we got together, in our 20s, officially. Um, and I've been divorced since 2018. I have a 22 and
Mm-hmm.
a 22-year-old girl, daughter, and a 17-year-old son.
Okay.
And um, I have to say that hearing someone with a similar background, I can relate to everything that you're speaking of. Experience is key. We have a lot of people that speak on certain subjects, and it's like, well, have you been there? And have you done it? And have you put the work in? Um, and so I just want to say it is refreshing to hear you touch on these topics, with the words of wisdom that you have. Two things that are key for me, especially in relationships, I say this a lot,
Mm-hmm.
that's above my pay grade.
Mm-hmm.
Dating now, it's been really crazy, and it's like, no, you listen, I can help people. I can be your 20%. If you're at like
Mm-hmm.
60, I can get you to 80. But if you're at 20, you still get the 40. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I
Yeah.
need you to be at a certain point or a certain level where my helpmate partner support, can get you to 80%, if not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that people aren't looking at relationships that way either. They want to
Right.
continue, pouring in to people, whether it's men or women. They want to continue pouring in as if it's an investment. And I tell people, at the end of the day, if you had stocks and this stock is like, it's negative all the time, it's doing horrible, it's
Yeah.
out, and every once in a while it goes up, every 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
it peaks a little bit. Would you continue investing in that stock?
Right.
You're throwing your money away. You're throwing your energy away. The other thing that I say is key is self-preservation. I teach
Mm-hmm.
this to my kids, when they were little. Even the relationship that I'm in now. Like he had no idea, like the concept of self-preservation. At first, he thought it was very selfish. It was a very selfish
Mm-hmm.
concept. And then I'm like, no, 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 no. It is the put the mask on and make sure you're good, and
Right.
then you'll be able to make sure that the people that are in your life are taken care of. Um,
Right.
I'm not going to give you my last dollar because I'm not. I might give my
Mm-hmm.
kids my last dollar, right? But I'm not giving anybody else that has not come from me my last dollar. And you could pay me back. I could trust you. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to put myself in a worse position to try to put you possibly maybe in a better position. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times that comes back to bite. I'm going to say a lot of women specifically,
Yeah.
right? We have this hope, like, of his potential, right? And
Right.
if I just love him more, if I nurture him more, if I mommy him more, or whatever it is, he's gonna be so appreciative and so thankful for me being supportive and loving and sticking by him. And a lot of times that goes in one ear and out the other. And
Yep.
so I mean, it's self-preservation is key, for both sides as well. Like when I was telling my partner about it, I'm like, no, I want you to hone in on self-preservation. Like you need to learn and understand what that means. And it's not a selfish thing. It's you you you're you can sustain yourself, right?
Right.
That's emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, you are making really good decisions and you're putting yourself first in a healthy way, not in a selfish way, but
Right.
and then when you start doing that for yourself, then I can trust that you can make those same decisions for a family, for a household, right? So if you're making poor decisions and you're making sure you give everyone else is taken care of and giving money out and you're broke at the end of the day, Why would
Mm,
I be able to trust that you would make those decisions with, the household bills or, our savings? So I think that those key core competent skills are missing nowadays. And again, we have to go
mm.
back to it. It's not being taught, because that all came from my father and mother as well.
Right. Right. Do you see yourself getting married again?
No, thank you.
Okay. And that's my biggest issue. That's my biggest issue for the community is that marriage, we're losing sight of marriage, and we are going to suffer. We have suffered.
Yes, we had a
Yeah.
discussion about that earlier. I don't know. I feel like I was so afraid of being a statistic. I stayed longer than I should have because I did
Right.
not want to be a statistic. I didn't want to I didn't want to be a single black mom, a baby
Right.
mama, you know what I mean? But I also didn't want to take away from, there goes another black marriage bites the dust either,
Right.
so I was really concerned with those two optics, um
Yeah.
but to the detriment of myself at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. So when I started getting stronger and realizing things for what they were, I'm like, yeah, I can't
Mm-hmm.
stay here. um on the flip side of that, I don't know, I feel like, um if I were to get married, because
Mm-hmm.
I am a woman of God, so whatever He has for me, I don't know. Um, I know right now that that's not in my cards, and that's something that I don't plan on doing. Because been there, done that. It was cool. I try everything once, and I tried it, and I put in
Mm-hmm.
good effort, and so be it. But I mean, I'm not going to say never. It's just not
Okay.
right now. Yeah,
Okay, because that's what God wants for you.
yeah.
I can tell you that.
Well, when He brings
God
me,
God wants you to be someone's wife.
yeah, when He brings me that man that I can
Okay.
trust completely, and they I appreciates everything, then
Okay.
I will. I'll send you an invitation to the wedding.
Okay. He
Miss
wants you to he wants you to be a wife. He wants you to be a good man's helpmeet. That and he wants that man to be your covering, right? And that's all I know how to do. Like I don't date. Can I be honest?
Omar.
I don't date. I don't I don't participate in courtship. I think I've reached an age now where, if you've read the scripture in Titus 2, where I am actually one of the older, wise, sage women in our community.
Hmm.
So I may not get another husband, and that's okay. I have a wonderful life. However, you know, that's all I could be. That's all I know how to be as a man's wife.
mm,
So it's that or nothing. And I believe God does want us to be married because there's just so many amazing benefits to being married to the right person,
Yeah.
right? So I'll even give you that caveat, to the right person, the person who is a really good fit for you. Yeah, there's lots of benefits. And then to our community, like we can't really get anywhere because we can't get anywhere financially.
Yes.
Like all these other cultures, all these other races running circles around us because we cannot get on the same page. Our men and women can't get on the same page. We can't get on the same page with our politics. We can't get on the same page.
Right.
And, there has to be order. God is a God of order. So,
you sound like Omar right now, Miss Stoudemire.
right.
You
Miss
sound like me right now, Miss Anita.
Okay.
Miss Stoudemire, can you please talk about two things? Why, like, men right now, and I would say this: most modern day women are not worthy of marriage. I
They're
grew up
not.
in the.
80 to 85% of them are not. I hate saying that.
I would
Oh,
give you a big hug right now if you were right next to me, Miss Stoudemire.
mm,
Like Miss
they're
Stoudemire, I
not.
grew up in a nuclear family. My father was a provider, protector, provisioner. My mom didn't work. My mom was able to go to my school and dedicate her time on my school trips. My father was the complete breadwinner. My grandparents were married. My great grand.
Mm,
So this is the kind of life that I grew. This is the kind of life that I had. Miss Stoudemire, can you talk about why you think men are scared now to get married when we have divorce court kicking our butt,
yeah.
right? Also, too, can you talk about women's expectations being too high, especially coming
Right.
from what they offer. A lot of women have
Yeah.
a unrealistic sense of where they stand in the dating market, Ms. Stoudemire. And then I'm going to get into your two
Right.
books, Do Well and Choose Well. But yes,
Right.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So we know that things have dramatically changed, right? I'm 57. So even in the
You
last
look
50
great too, Ms.
years,
Stoudemire.
thank
You
you.
look great.
Even in the last 50 years, we've seen a huge shift. Um, And I too kind of grew up similar. My dad being the primary breadwinner, my mom staying at home, my grandmother having 10 children, her staying at home, my grandfather being the primary breadwinner. That was my story. I met a man, and on our first date, I said, "Hey, how do you feel about me staying at home with any children we have?" He's like, "I love it.
Hmm.
I love it." The day after we married, I quit my job. So I agree with you. That's all I know. And I added value to that man's life. I was an asset. That's what I think women are missing. Most women are a liability. And that hurts their little heart as Six the Goddess say, I'm gonna hold your hand while I tell you this. You are a liability to that man. So that's the number one reason why he ain't marrying you.
That's
Okay.
right.
His life goes straight to hell as soon as he married you. Okay.
That's right.
The, so the second thing is, yes, does our family law need to change? Desperately, desperately. The fact that a woman can wake up tomorrow and for whatever reason that's in her heart say, I don't want to be married anymore. And whatever children we've had, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take the house. I'm going to take whatever else it is you got. Like she's rewarded for abandoning the marriage. And that's an absolute no no.
Wow.
So that's an absolute
That's right.
no. So men are scared, but they're scared, just like they talk about being scared to even approach women because women are going to call
Mm.
them creeps or women are going to say they sexually assaulted them.
Yeah.
And yet we've got more women than ever. Where are all the good men? Why don't men approach? Y'all set this up. Y'all set all this up. I'm confused. Like I'm sitting back looking like, isn't
You
this
are a
y'all work?
godsend, Ms. Stoudemire. You are a godsend.
Y'all set all this up.
Ms. Stoudemire, you are a godsend.
I've been saying this for nights. I've been saying this every time you've been on here.
Yep.
And Ms. Stoudemire, you know what's so it's very, very it's scary to know that the the family court laws were put in place at a time where women really did give up everything to be wives. It
And that's
hasn't been
see,
updated since the 1800s,
since
like the
yep,
19th century. So
yep,
when women really were like looking at being a mom and a wife as their life's duty.
right.
So back then they got together and said, "Hey, we have to make sure that if you leave her, that she's
Yeah,
taken
there's
care of
protections.
because
Mm-hmm.
she was the stay-at-home mom. She
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
was the full-time wife. It's and those laws haven't been updated, and it's unfortunate and
Right.
it's very scary. It's very
I think
scary.
It
I think
is.
that's why, like,
Wait, Tiff, hold on 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, what you got to say, bro?
No, I just want to get back because this ties into what I was going to see. God sent me off so we could come back to
Okay.
it now, right? But this ties into what I was going to ask Miss Anita earlier. You said something that I thought was great, right? You said that you chose the wrong person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm a thorough believer in choosing the person who's compatible for you,
Yes.
right? Because who the most important person you choose after God is the person you
Spouse.
choose to marry, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm taught. So what uh made helped you to identify that you chose the wrong person? Like, or how did you know that you chose the wrong person? Because I refuse to get married until I find someone who is compatible, because I believe family is super important and it's the cornerstone for any community and nation. And I don't want to mess that up, right? That's one thing I don't want to mess up is the person who I choose
Mm-hmm.
to have a life with in the future. So how did you know,
So
without getting into much personal detail?
yeah, so I teach a theory that I created in my private practice because I'm primarily a couples therapist. I teach people what I call the 8 C's. And I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, a very devout Christian. And so the first C, I give them to them in order. The first C is Christ. We must have our faith and our religious background has got to be the same. We have to want to live by the tenets of Christendom. So you have your role, I have my role. And as long as we agree that everything that God has ordained for us to do, we're going to do, then we're golden. So the first one is Christ. The second one is character. We need to judge righteously.
Mm.
We hear that term all the time. Don't judge. Don't. No. You need to judge righteously. And you need to judge people's character. And the way you do that is look at their patterns. People are not outrunning their patterns. Whatever
right.
they've been doing, they're going to keep doing.
Mm.
So unfortunately, the person I married had very poor character. And I did not vet well for that. The third one is commitment. Like the gentleman said earlier about marriage being a duty, you being duty bound, you are committed to what it is that you're creating. So the third one is, and people today do not have a level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You're lucky if you can get a date Friday night at 7 and they show up. They are not committed. So that to me is scary.
Yes.
Then you have compatibility.
You
And
see me.
yeah, and this is just how we do life, right? I believe that people who have a measure of compatibility, that they have similar financial compatibility, they have ways in which they connect. There has to be compatibility. I am very healthy, very fit. So I wouldn't be a good fit for a man who's a couch potato. Like that would not be a good fit
Uh,
for me, right? Or if you're vegetarian, you may want to find someone who's also vegetarian. Like, why would you go against the thing that you are?
Mm-hmm.
The next one is communication. What is this person's style of communicating? I love to talk, so I'm very much the oral communicator. I also love to write. So I love to write. I write people letters as a form of communication. But is the person capable of being a healthy communicator and an effective communicator? The next one is conflict resolution.
Mm.
You must have a similar conflict resolution style. So I have a lot of
mhm.
couples where one person's very passionate and the other person's very passive. And so they directly go against each other. Like one person wants to keep the conflict going, the other person wants to wind it down. That actually isn't a really great or compatible style of doing conflict. So we want to make sure, or people calling you out your name, people cursing at you, right? There are certain things that's just not how I do conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do conflict that way. So when you see that, I tell people pay attention because this person's telling you this is how I do conflict,
Mm.
right? And you ever heard a person say, well, I said that because I was mad. Pay
Yep.
attention. So this is how you act when you
There's
mad.
power in the
Pay attention.
tongue. There's power, life, and death in it. So,
Yep. The next one is connection. To me, this is spiritual. This is a knowing. This could also be God bringing you your spouse. There is just a knowing. Something about this person is familiar in a good way. So that's the connection that I believe the couple should have. And then the one at the very bottom is chemistry. Chemistry is necessary, but it is not the number one thing.
Yes.
And
I had that
today,
written down.
yeah,
I love you.
they base it all on chemistry. Oh, girl, he made my heart flip flop and all this other stuff. Okay. Science says that that's going to wear off in 2 years. Then what?
Yeah.
wow.
Like, once I get used to you, then what?
Wow.
So, those are the things I give my couples. I dive deeper into each one, and we do work around each one. But you want to make sure you can check off all of those 8 C's. And think about it. Omar, this is the best time in history to be a man. It is easy to vet women. I tell men this
That's right.
all the time. They put it all out there.
That's
So
right.
I just tell men, baby,
Wow.
if you choosing horrible women, it's you.
You go Google.
That's right.
Yeah.
They put it all
That's
out
right.
there. This is the best time in history. You got social media? Oh, it's a
Oh
wrap.
man, Mr. Adamai, you are
Well, I knew I liked you, but I officially like you.
Yes.
Mr. Adamai. I'm just at loss for word. I mean, if I spoke of how much I appreciate you, it wouldn't do it justice. And especially, you are a black woman speaking. You're giving me hope. You're fit.
I hope
You
so.
have a garden. I mean, you take pride in your appearance. You take pride in your articulation. You have such clean, clear, concise articulation points. I have so much love and respect for you. Miss Stoudemeyer, can you please speak about shame? I always say, the black community, we're shamed at nothing, offended at everything. And
Right.
my thing is, like when Felicia Rashad was saying how black women should behave, or how women should behave to get a husband, they shamed her. They called her a pick me. I was saying, what's wrong with being a pick me? My grandma loved being a pick me. My mom loved being a pick me. Can you please? Oh my gosh! Like, I know you have, you're on a time crunch, but it's just so. So just please speak about being a pick me and why we shame women being pick me's to get married. Like, as a man, I would love to be a man that women chose as a husband. I don't look at that as something that's wrong. I look at it as something that's positive. And can you talk about bringing shame back to the black community? Because I think that we need to bring back shame. Shame is what kept your parents, and shame kept children in line, and out of fear of being embarrassing the last name. Nowadays, kids don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. So I was raised in a community, raised by my mother and father. I had two brothers. I was the middle child, raised by both sets of grandparents. My dad has 17 brothers and sisters. My mom has 9 brothers and sisters. So all of these people raised me. Then you got people on the block. Like you got people at school. Like it's that community raising. It's what we call home training. So there is no home training. That doesn't exist anymore. And not only did you get in trouble for something you did when you were just out in the street, you got in trouble when you got home. You got in trouble by another. It just, like I said, accountability was everywhere. But today, keep in mind, a lot of people are growing up in single parent homes. People move away from their family of origin. So there are no grandparents, there are no aunts and uncles, there are no cousins. And it's just either the mom there doing the best she can, working as much as she can to pay bills. And she, unfortunately, she kind of drops the ball, or dad drops the ball, whoever that is, right? These people drop the ball. But it's good old fashioned home training. Like you said, that was definitely my grandparents. They were very funny about their name. They were very funny about, how you made the family look. So that was a huge deal. You're not going to go out here in the street and embarrass the family. And we just don't have that anymore. But yes, we got to bring healthy shame back. We have to have boundaries. We have to know that there are lines. And the fact that, as I spoke before, Cardi B is still legally married to one man and is pregnant by another. That is
Crazy.
completely unacceptable
And
behavior.
we normalize it.
We repeatedly see Kim Kardashian was the same way.
Same.
Okay, like we're seeing this, and it's, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's the norm, but if you see it enough and enough people are doing it, then it is.
Yeah, and we have gotten desensitized as a community. And so, even when people hear me speak, they're like, oh, she's so out of touch. She's so, okay, baby, I'm gonna stay over here. But she don't know what she's talking about. Or like you said, the pick me. Remember this, the Darvo tactic, right? People are going to use language to get you to back off. That's their number one tactic. They're going to deny, they're going to, reverse engineer it. They're going to use certain language. They're doing all this because you're onto something. Right? I love when I get into it with people. I'm like, oh, I'm onto something. I am touching what I'm saying. Yeah. Because you're using these Darvo tactics. So I make kind of put that in my mind, like, okay, I've touched a nerve here of some sort. But yeah, language is powerful. And they came up with simp, they came up with pick me, they came up, they have all these different names for things. So language is powerful, but the truth is, healthy people, a healthy woman, she wants to do wonderful things for her man. She cares about him. Right. She cares about what he thinks, right? She reverences him. She respects him. So if he says, hey, I think that shirt is a little too tight, or I can see your bra through it, I take it off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, what is the problem?
Wow.
But again, feminism has taught us that it's my body, my choice, and you don't tell me what to wear and all this other stuff. And this is, again, the man you chose. This is the man you chose. So that's the part I don't get. Why are you fighting the man you chose?
And having and guess what though, Miss Donnemeyer? Not just choosing, but having kids with and not married,
Yep.
not marrying
Yep.
before they carry. So you
Yep.
can't be that bad if you gave them the highest honor.
You get exactly.
Miss Anita, I just have to say this, right? And I mean this in the greatest way. I could have not shown up tonight, and it would have been like I was
Yeah.
here
Okay.
because
Okay.
I argue this every single night
We
on
Yeah.
gotta
here
Miss
with
Miss
these.
Stoudemire, we have to
Yeah.
get you security guards. We gotta get you, but we gotta protect you at all
Okay.
costs. We gotta we
Okay.
gotta.
And and I'm glad, right? I'm glad it's coming from a woman because I
Right.
think it hits a little bit harder,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when it's coming from the man, it seems like I'm just only doing this to manipulate you to get what I want,
Right.
right?
Right.
When I don't have, and honestly, I don't have certain problems in these departments, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still care about us
Yes.
as a community.
Yeah.
But we still get pushback. But when it comes from you and somebody who has the credentials,
Mm-hmm.
they have to respect it. Me, I'm
Yeah.
just your brother Omar,
Yeah.
right?
But they still
But
hate
you,
it. They still hate it. So what I tell,
no, I know they hate it, but
yeah.
they can't push back on you as much because you have the paperwork to prove it, and
Mm-hmm.
they can't fight you
Yeah.
in that regard, right?
Yeah.
So even if I wasn't here, I would have felt like I was here in
Yeah.
spirit. I would have
Yeah.
felt you from wherever I was.
Good.
Thank you.
Yes. But yes, I tell women, I'm not your competition.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. I've been married. I've raised my kids. I'm not your competition. And to the men, again, I'm not technically on the market. I can only be a wife. And can I be honest? 90% of men out here don't want to be husbands. So that eliminates me too. So I'm good. I have a
Right.
wonderful, career. I feel ordained to do this work. I tell people that all the time. That God came into my life at a time where He was like, I could see something coming, Anita. I'm gonna need you to start talking about this. And I was like, what? Because I tell people all the time, I never saw myself having a YouTube channel. I never saw myself having an Instagram. And that's how He wanted to use me.
Yeah.
And so even now, he already told me, because you're Christian, you're going to be persecuted. But if you start telling the truth, oh man, He's like, yeah, they're going to come for you. But here's the
Look
good
at God.
news. I'm not 25, I'm older, I'm seasoned, I'm pretty thick skinned. So,
Yeah.
I guess I am the right person at the right time.
I
There
love
you
that
Yes,
go.
for
man.
you. I
Tip,
love
tip,
that.
tip. Wait, Tip, you wanted to ask Miss Stoudemire something?
Well, no, I wanted to say that for me, and I guess a lot of women in my circles that are
Mhm.
like-minded, I wanted to clarify the pick me thing. I think it's those women specifically are bad for women in general, and they're bad for
Mm.
men because they're fake. They put a facade on. Not the woman who really truly wants to be married and is like, baby, let me mama you and nurture you and do all of the things for you. Okay, cool. We're talking about those fake women that pretend
Mm.
like they're so interested in what you're doing, and now all of a sudden, like whatever guy they get with, they're into that, right? Like, okay,
Mm.
now I'm dating a biker, so now I've got a bike and I'm the leather get up, and
Yeah.
or okay, now I'm dating an artist, and I'm artsy and I go to art shows, and
Right.
like I think that is toxic, especially in the Black community, because that means as a woman you don't know yourself. Something's
Mm.
wrong.
But
You
wait. So can I?
you're not being authentic. You can
Yeah.
enjoy that. For me, that, like, honestly, and when I like I say, when I talk to my circles of people, that is what a pick me woman is. She is someone who does
Mm.
not know herself. And then men get caught up in the, oh my God, she's a girl's guy and she's really into what I'm doing. And then they get into a relationship with them, and then they realize, maybe they put a ring on it, maybe they have a baby now, and it's like, oh well, you don't know, you're not really into that, like
Mm.
all the games when we were dating, and now you're like, oh, I hate football. And it's like,
Yeah.
I think that is an unfair to men, because they're tricking you, and it's unfair
Right.
to women because now the women that are authentic, that would really want to get to know a guy, you're taking them off the market, and like, you know it's bad all the way around. I also want to
Mm-hmm.
make a point of a lot of us grew up on the waiting to exhale when we were talking about divorce and women
Mm-hmm.
getting half,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of stay-at-home moms helped make their husbands who they were. If it was not for the woman doing what they did in the household and helping them get that small business up and running, and
Mm-hmm.
watching the kids and caring for the kids so he can go to late night meetings and all of this stuff, if it wasn't for her, that man would probably never be halfway to where they are, right? And so it reminds me of Waiting to Exhale when Bernadette was like, I'm burning this shit down. Like, 25 years, you know what I mean? I was your secretary, I was this, I was that, and you just gonna leave me and then leave me for a woman? No, it is
I
not.
mean,
And now you're not trying to pay me for all
Right.
the work that I put in, because I was also your business partner. I wasn't just your
Right.
wife and your helpmate and the mother of your children. I was your business partner. And you want to leave me with nothing. And so, mind you, disclaimer, I took nothing from my divorce. I assumed all marital debt because I did not want any financial abuse. I did not take alimony.
Mm.
He did not have to pay child support. I said the best
Mm.
revenge is success, honey. Okay. So I'm gonna go and do me, and you will never have to say that you had to do this and had to do that. And no,
Mm.
thank you. No, thank you. So, with that being said, there are a lot of women out there that have chose to be married and chose not to do their career or make any, sustain themselves financially outside of the household, that now that they're divorced, they they may be too old to go back to school or the career that they
Mm.
were involved in 20 years ago. Now they've got to completely transform and shift. And so I get what you guys were saying with the divorce and the woman
Yeah.
to take half, but it's so much deeper than that. I think that it's messed up if you're only married for 2 years and you get half of, but
Yeah.
you put in that time like a lifer, and you mean to tell me you get nothing, and you got to start over
but
at 40, 50, 60 years old with nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's not
but
gonna
so as far as the woman assimilating, right? Women are impressionable. So any woman that's with a strong masculine leader, naturally she's going to want to be involved and she's going to gain interest for whatever her husband is interested in. Most women who watch sports, their sports team because their dad was that. Like forget the husband. Let's go back to the uncle. My uncle
Mm-hmm.
was a Giants fan, so I'm a Giants fan. My dad liked the UFC. So women are very easily influenced. The problem is they're influenced by the wrong things. The thing is, women
Mm.
should be influenced by the right things. So if a woman is around a
Right.
man, 9 times out of 10, she's going to start liking what he likes. She's going to start to be assimilating into the things that he's assimilating to. There's nothing wrong with that. That's
no,
one. Number two
no, no.
is yeah, and
But a
number
pick
two
me
is
is different than that.
wait.
That
I'm
that
sorry. Say it again, Tiff.
A pick me is different. Her whole focus is to, oh, that guy is into that. Even though she was a Giants fan yesterday, now that she met this guy today, now she's a Steelers fan. A
Yeah,
diehard,
and men have ego.
you know
But
what
see,
I
but here's
mean?
the thing too, though. But men have egos, and there's nothing wrong with when a man is willing to die, support, and put his life on the line for you, and fully provide for you and to provision for you. There's nothing wrong with feeding into your husband's ego. It's
No,
just like it's just like a man feeding into you emotionally a little bit, understanding you, walking you
Mm-hmm.
through your emotions. That's one. Number two is I think Miss Stoudemire, the movie industry was really it really negatively influenced the black community, and we know who
Oh
put the
God,
money
yes.
right, and the powers that be, people who have no interest in us
Mm.
being great, put money and invested into these movies to give women a
Mm-hmm.
reason to behave the way they're behaving now. And like you said, with the
Mm-hmm.
all of this media culture, it's disgusting, and I think that it really was a detriment to our community. um um I'm sorry, Miss Stoudemire. I wanted you to just to respond to that what Tiffany said as far as being impressionable with the pick me thing. I'm sorry, I got like sidetracked.
So Tiffany, I'm gonna be frank. That is definitely not my story. I
That's
stayed. I
fair.
stayed at home with my children. I picked what I call a dark horse. I encourage young women to do the same. Find a husband in undergraduate or graduate school. Everyone is potential. right? That man in undergraduate or graduate school is potential. But what you're going to do is you're going to go into the barn before the race starts, and you're going to use your instincts. You're going to use whatever other, things that to choose that dark horse. This one right here. This one's a winner. I'm going to put my money on him. And you're going to do everything in your power to support that man. So
That's right.
I went from a medical school student to someone who makes $15 million a year. Okay? That's the power of two people coming together and making a fabulous life together.
Mm-hmm.
And did I take, yeah, about half. I'm gonna be honest. I took about half. I ain't even gonna lie.
High five.
I did get alimony. I did get child support, and I did get about half of his assets.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't proud. I really am not. I made a decision to be with him and to support and guide him and all of those things as far as his career and him building his business, him building up all his practices.
Yes.
I made that decision. But thankfully, I also married someone who is a provider, and is a protector. And he really never had an issue with doing that. So even once we were divorced, he never had an issue. He never had an issue providing for the family. So in that regards, I was fortunate. Even to this day, people say, "Oh, well, if the kids need this or if they need that," I'm like, "Yeah, all I have to do is call them,
Yeah.
and he will provide it." So, but again, that was, we both made choices. And he let me know, okay, if this is what you're going to do, if you're going to take 12 years out of your life, right? I'm going to make sure you're good.
And
I'm going to make
I
sure
don't
you're
mind you
good.
doing that, Miss Stoudemire, because
Right.
you are old school. You actually put your life
Oh,
on
yeah.
hold for
Oh,
your
yes.
man, right? And he
Yep.
should take care of you. These women nowadays are not doing that.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
problem. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So like you said, it's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. It was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no, no. And let me make that clear. First off, I am not coming against Felicia, Miss Rashad. Like, absolutely. I think they mislabeled her.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because I'll give the same advice. I'm very traditional, and and I have conservative views and values in certain aspects, right? What I'm specifically talking about is the true pick me girls. I've seen them. I've literally been at a bar watching someone that I know turn into someone I don't recognize because she saw a cute nigga that she want to fuck tonight. Right. So that is what I'm talking about. And that is,
Mm-hmm.
so to sit here and say, oh no, pick me's are great. Well, you know what? I'm gonna interview all the dudes who decided to wife up pygmies in 2025, 5-10 years from now, and you're going to tell me it was the worst decision you've ever made because they're not authentic. They
So,
don't necessarily
but wait. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say there's a difference between being fake, right, unauthentic, and being a pick me. Being a pick me and being a fake a woman just to get a man for superficial reasons is not the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. That's what I call those fake women are
Okay.
pick me's because they're sitting here, pick me, choose me, because you know what I mean. That is my definition of it. It is, yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Miss Stoudemire, I wanted to talk to you about other cultures getting it right. Do you know? So
Mm.
during mid 19th century, Miss Stoudemire, we were the most married people in America.
Yep.
Black women were
Yep.
getting married earlier than white women were. We per
Yep.
capita, we were doing better under Jim Crow and segregation. We had so many communities that were thriving. We were married at a higher rate. We didn't have gang banging.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting lynched in our Sunday's best, but we still had love. We still had
Yep.
family. We prioritized the nuclear family. And I tell people, Ms. Stoudemire, we were doing better per capita as a whole in raising kids
Yep.
in the two back then where there were times of more racism. And then
Yep.
we had the social programs. We had Gloria Steinem. We had the white feminist movement coming in, right? We had even like before that, the suffragettes with Susan B. Anthony. They never, for the 19th Amendment, they didn't support black women's voting rights. It was only white women's voting
Mm-hmm.
rights. People don't know that. Susan B. Anthony was not really and care for what black women needed to overcome. But they convinced black women that they didn't need their husbands while they went back home to their husbands. So can you
Yeah.
just talk about that as far as how we were doing back then and what we're doing now and how black women are led astray by other groups of people that don't
Oh
have our
God.
best interests at hand?
Okay. So, what can I say about feminism? This is the one topic that most people, when they want to have me on their show, they want to talk about this. And people pretty much understand that while I support gender equality, right? I support that a man and a woman can work the same job and they can make the same money and, pretty much have the same rights. I will always support gender equality. What I do not support is feminism.
Mm.
And people say, well, what's the difference? Well, there have been 4 separate and distinct waves of feminism, each one more destructive than the last. And so the fact that our people have now bought this hook, line, and sinker is like mind boggling that they cannot see the forest for the trees. Why would you support this? Like you said, at a time in our history where we were doing the worst, we were actually doing the best. It is reported that even back in slave times, Black children were being raised by a mother and a father on the plantation. What? And now that we're all free and we have all these freedoms and all these, niceties and luxuries, and we're doing worse, make that make sense. So we really got to know our history. We need to return. What I love to say is everything that's old isn't bad or wrong, and everything that's new isn't great.
Right.
Like we have to critically think. There are some things that worked great, and we should probably continue to do those things. And then there's some new things that people are like, yeah, let's jump on this. No, let's not. Let's not do that.
And Ms. Stoudemire, when people ask me, right, because I like to create situations where we talk about solutions, not just problems. When I
Right.
propose arranged marriages, the first thing that women
Mhm.
say is hell no. And I tell people when I'm around my Punjabi friends, when I'm around my Gujarati friends, when I'm around my
Yep.
friends of Pakistani culture, they listen to their parents. And it's
Yeah.
funny, when I was dating an Indian girl, even in my 20s, I had to drive up the street, not only because of, I'm not a Punjabi, but
Mhm.
and this woman was in her 20s. She was a nurse practitioner making her own money, still living at home. And
Mm.
and her father will always say, if I don't get my daughter married, I'll be shamed in my community.
Yep.
In my community. And there's something that I wanted to share. I don't think people know about this. There's something that's very deep in how not listening to our parents and not having that cohesive family unit can even hurt us
Mm.
politically, Ms. Stoudemire. So there's
Yep.
something called the Do Nothing campaign. It was under this company called Cambridge Analytica that Facebook hired.
Mm.
And
Mm.
during the time of an election cycle in Trinidad, the 2 major races, right, are Indo Trinidadian and Afro Trinidadian. So Cambridge Analytica knew that Black kids, even in the Caribbean, would be less likely to listen to their parents. So what they
Mm.
did was, in order to get an Indian person in power, what they did was they created a campaign called the Do Nothing campaign. They convinced the youth of Trinidad to not vote. Let's step away from politics.
Mm.
Let's not vote. So what happened was the black kids, they were rebellious, a rebel without a cause. The Indian kids were rebellious, a rebel without a cause. They both said, "Oh, we're not going to vote. We're unhappy with both parties. We're bipartisan on some things, but we're just not happy." But they
Mm.
knew that when those Indian parents called those kids and said, "Hey, listen, I know about this Do Nothing campaign. We need you to vote." Guess what they did? They voted, and they won the
Yeah.
election for the Indian side because they knew, historically speaking, right, that black kids don't listen. And there's something called
Yeah.
psychographics in comparison to
Mm.
demographics. Demographics just deals with a person's race, their height, their marriage status. Psychographics deals with the psychology of said segment. So
Mm.
even politically, we're not together. We can't get anything done collectively,
No.
right? And
No.
when we vote independently instead of saying, "Hey, politician, we have 1 million votes in Atlanta. We have 1 million votes here. What are you going to do for us as a whole?" So when
Right.
we're not married, we have different political ideologies. Back in the day, it would
Yep.
be one house,
Yep.
one vote, and
Yep.
and this is how we did things, Ms. Stoudemire. Now
Yeah.
they destroyed us romantically. They destroyed us politically, economically,
Yep.
the whole
Yep.
everything. So I can go on and on
Mm-hmm.
and on, but I just wanted to share that with you with the Cambridge Analytica thing, and just to show how it can
Mm.
destroy us, like as a whole.
Yeah. And then too, I want you to keep in mind a lot of Black people do not have close friends of different races or cultures,
Mhm.
right? They're living in this vacuum. And that's something that people have always hated me about is that I grew up very diverse, knowing
Yes,
all different races and Jewish people and Indian people and Asian people, like white, all these different people. So sometimes people will get mad at me because I will not, I'm not a loyalist, and I've shared this on my platform very publicly. I am not a loyalist. And people feel a way about that. What does that mean? That means that the only thing that I'm supporting 100% of the time is my Lord and Savior, Jesus
Mhm.
Christ.
Yep.
These Black people down here, these women down here, this or these conservatives or these liberal, whatever your title is, like, nah, I'm going to support God's kingdom.
that's right. And
That's the
and
thing that I am loyal to.
you absolutely, and you know what too, Ms.
So,
Stoudemire? When I look at people of other races and cultures, the men that I see that are married, they can't walk and chew gum at the same time. They might be deemed undesirable by everyone else, but they're married, right?
they're married.
Like that. This is
Yep.
crazy to me. Is that when you look at,
Yeah.
like, for a father to say, this, this lady, she was telling me, she was translating in Urdu, which is the language of Pakistan. She said, "My father and
Mm-hmm.
mother said, before I die, if I don't marry you, I will be
Mm.
shamed." Like, it is
Yep.
shameful that she said, in her culture, when you go outside, you would not just say your name. You would say your name. I am the daughter of,
Right. Yep.
because your last name meant something. Because your actions don't only affect you; it affects your father, and him being able to actually get a line of credit, him being able to even play
Mm.
chess and checkers in the community without being, shamed. And young girls back in
Yeah.
the day, they understood, my actions can shame my grandparents, like my
Whole family.
bloodline,
Yep.
and we don't
Yep.
have any shame, and it makes me want to cry
Mm-mm.
because we're we're such independent thinkers, and we don't care about the community as a whole. And I can
Nope.
understand why you're not a lawyer, because I get fed up too. I get
Nope.
fed up, and it's like when certain people are the only ones pushing for a change, it becomes
Right.
exhausting, Ms. Stoudemire.
It does. It does. But the truth is, these women of this culture, they know what God designed them to do. That's how I feel. God designed me to birth babies. That was the hardest thing that God told me to do. Have a
If you
baby.
say that now,
Okay.
Ms. Stoudemire, you can be labeled, look, a misogynist
Oh,
just by saying that. But guess
just by
what?
saying that.
And they don't know what the word misandry means, though. No one knows what
Right.
misandry means. They only know what misogynist means.
Mm,
But whenever you say, "I want a woman to adhere to a gender role because I'm going to adhere to mine," oh, you're a misogynist.
yeah.
Like, when has it been not cool to be a mother?
Right. And that's the new thing now. There was a young woman was on my platform yesterday, and she thought I was going to go back and forth, which I don't. But she was saying, you sound very misogynistic because you know, it was weird because she's feminist and she's trying to make a feminist argument, but then she's talking because it was about the family law. When I said, hey, feminists want to be equal in every area other than in family law. They don't want to be drafted. They don't want to be, you know, equal in family law. Oh, you're a misogynist because the woman is the one with the womb and the woman is the one that breastfeeds the baby and this and that. I said, okay, so basically you're saying you want special treatment. So you don't want to be equal. Now we're getting somewhere. Yep. I said, yeah, but I don't go back and forth. I just said, yeah, you're making my argument,
And you got to
which
use John Henry
is,
Clark, Ms. Stoudemire. What did you say?
yep,
I only debate my equals. Everyone else I teach.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to use
So
that. You got to
no,
tell them that.
Mhm.
yeah, y'all are talking out both sides of your neck. You
And
say you want to be equal. You say you don't want to be just, oh, I don't want to just be a mother or just be a wife. But then you have modern day women out here who want push presents. They want baby moons. I have to give you something to do what God intended for you to do.
it's crazy,
Like, what sense does that make?
crazy.
None. Ms. Stoudemire, can
Oh,
you talk
it's
about,
wild.
wait, and Ms. Stoudemire, and also too, when you look at the dating landscape now, a lot of women who are modern day thinkers, they want traditional treatment.
Again, you can't have a foot in both worlds. You need to decide. I decided to be a traditional wife and mother. And I mean all the way, right? All the way. This is my role. This is what I'm doing. I'm cooking all the meals, I'm cleaning up my home, I'm washing all the laundry. I'm making sure my children have my values and morals.
Wow.
So
Yep.
Wow.
that is what I decided to do.
Oh my
And
goodness.
you're right. Most of today's, well, oh, I don't want to do that. I just got off a call. I just got off a call before this interview. I asked the young lady, do you see yourself staying at home at any point? No, I just don't. I can't tolerate kids like that. Now I'm looking at the guy over here like, did you just hear that? did you just hear your fiance say she can't tolerate kids?
You know,
And they your kids?
Ms.
listen,
Stoudemire, we have to do something, Ms. Stoudemire. I want to start honestly, and I'm so sorry, Tiffany. I apologize. Can I just say one thing? I really, with financial back, like with my own financial backing, I'm willing to put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. And hearing you speak, I think you need to start a wife school. And honestly, you will give men who are successful who don't want to get married hope. What can I do to help you?
Yeah,
Because I listen, I've already started this push for arranged marriage. And if
yeah.
men were able to be in front of women like you, our whole mindset of marriage would change. Like Omar is one of the most disciplined, most articulate, intelligent men that I know. And it's a shame
Mm-hmm.
that even him, but rightfully so, he's scared, Miss Stoudemire. So if a
He
guy,
should be.
so we need to start to bring together positive young ladies and positive young men who are black, so we
Right.
can create a new way of being, right? Like just a new standard, because I'm really it's hurting me. It's really hurting me. So we need to
So
do
it's
something.
interesting. It's interesting that you say that. So right now, I have a platform. It's on the school platform, and school is spelled SKOOL. So there is a platform called School. I have a private community there, and it is called Single Seeking Soulmate. And what happens is men and women, they come into that platform. They work with me for 24 weeks. So for 24 weeks straight, they take the course that I have on the platform. And for 24 weeks straight, we go live every Monday night. So every Monday night, a lesson is taught. There's a Q&A. This past Monday, we had the most men in school that we've ever had.
Wow.
Like, it shocked me. And what we did was we decided to have these mock dates. So I would pick a man and pick a woman. The rest of us would turn our cameras off and we would mute ourselves. And they would just talk to each other.
Wow.
And we did that for the whole 90 minutes.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how many texts I got today. They were like, man, I really enjoyed that. That was fantastic. I was like,
Wow.
thank you. It made my heart smile too to
You
see
you
people
got to
just
start somewhere.
interacting.
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
Start even in communities
Yep.
like Ms. Stoudemire. You see, even group economics, they'll say, "Hey, you're going to start this company because
Yeah.
we already built it. you're going to start this, you're going to start that, and we're going to come together. We're going to keep the money in the community. It starts small,
Yep.
but we can grow from something as small as a seed and just keep
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
Tiffany,
But
you were saying,
that's what we do. That's what
yes,
we do
ma'am.
there.
And
We talk about how men can be masculine husbands, how women can be feminine wives.
and Miss Thelma, before you leave, please, we have to go over the do well and choose well. But I know Tiffany wants to ask
Yeah.
a question, but I want to get into that as well. I'm sorry, Tiffany.
Yep.
No, you're good. I had one other thing that I didn't write down. But I will say this about the women who don't think that they can be good mothers.
Mm,
There's something there, whether it's some type
mm,
of trauma,
yeah.
or a disconnect, with their own feminine. I will say
Mm,
this: we have seen what it looks like for those children of women who did not want to be moms. And
oh
I am
yeah.
a
Mm,
huge advocate of
mm,
children, and also on the maternal side as well. I would rather a woman be honest and say, I don't have the patience, I don't
yeah.
have the skill, the mindset, the whatever it is to be a mother, than to actually do it because it's her obligation, or because her mate wants her to, and that child suffers.
Mm,
There are a lot of
yeah.
broken children whose parents hated them,
Mm,
did not like them, used them as props. It was these children were second thoughts.
mm,
So I'm gonna say that. Thank you for your honesty, ma'am.
yeah.
Whoever said,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah.
maybe some counseling, and we can work through that, and maybe afterwards you might feel a little bit different about having kids. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I would rather you voice that before we bring kids into
Yeah.
this world, and I'm asking you why our kid is screaming and hollering, and you
Mm,
end up going and pick up that baby, and now that baby has a flat head. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So not
yeah.
everyone is made to be a mother. Some just don't have it. The same thing with father. So that's my advocate piece for children. Okay. um on the flip side, men and women are really scared on both sides. They see the
Yep.
worst of the worst. Um and I was gonna say, before Mo added, that we, like, we should invest in this, that honestly I think that is what our generation is missing so badly, is that community. It takes a village, the mother
Yeah.
and father. If you look at the generations now, a lot of let's say a lot of adult women in their 20s and 30s right now didn't grow up with a father or a grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're starting to see the gap of male influence over generations now. We were
Yeah.
starting to see it in the late 90s and early 2000s, because maybe only grandfather was around and the uncles
Right.
were around, right? But now we have multiple generations without men
Yeah.
in the household, multiple generations without people seeing anyone in their family married,
Mm,
with their original, with their original partner, right?
mm,
And so this is what it's looking like, and I had said on a podcast before that I think we're in an overcorrection
yeah.
period in our
Yeah.
history, where I have hope that we're going to balance back. But right now, women are trying to figure out what actually makes them happy on their own, right? They're trying to get away from that you have to be a wife, you have to be a mother mindset. It's like, can I be something else? And so they've got that going on. Men are also going through this feminist thing right now, where they've overcorrected. Before they were macho and they never talked about their feelings and they never divulged it, and now they are full of feelings. Like, these men have way more feelings than we do. And I'll be like, yo, bro, I'm gonna need you to go cry over there. And then when you get yourself together, we can have a conversation. You know what I mean? And like, that's what's happening. So this overcorrection is going to level out. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
we need
Mm,
people like this panel speaking, saying, no, there are these core values. This is This is
Right.
our history. Look at our
Yeah.
history, and history repeats itself. But we're also supposed to be getting better every generation as well. And
Mhm.
we're getting better at some things, right? Black women are the most educated. We getting them degrees, and we're the small business owners. I believe that we're like the highest in opening our own businesses and things like that. And that's wonderful, and I'm so proud of us, right? Like, I really truly am. I'm never going to take that away from any of them, myself, you, Miss Anita, you know what I mean? But there's also a balance, because I was a stay-at-home mom as well. I gave up my
Mhm.
and after my son was born, I decided to stay home, for 7 years,
Mhm.
and then got a job where I was able to take my kids to school and
Mhm.
be there when they got home from school. And you know what I mean? And so we're missing those key values of, you are your first role models, like your kids' first role models.
Yeah.
And if they're not learning it from you, they're learning it from social media, their friend's house, anywhere outside.
Right.
And people are missing that. They are letting their children be raised by everything and anything but God and
Mm.
themselves.
Yep. Yep. I want people to understand, though, that happiness is, as we've already stated, it's a fleeting thing. It's going
Hmm.
to come and go, and that's fine. And I'm always encouraging people to really just breathe that in. Happiness is a fleeting emotion, but what we really need is meaning,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our life needs to have meaning. So God gives my life meaning. My family gives my life meaning. I always tell people I've done a lot of fabulous things in my life, but the best thing I've done with 25 years of my life is raise 3 children.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the thing I tell people. I
Mo.
don't tell them about my degrees. I don't tell them about
Yeah.
my business. I tell them about the things that gave my life meaning. That is what modern day people are missing.
Yeah.
They're trying to find happiness or bliss or kind of joy in things, accomplishments, especially women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those accomplishments can be empty.
Yeah.
For women, we are by nature relational. For us, it's about the quality of our relationships. But we are putting that on the back burner and pursuing all these other things. And we may get those things, but when it all boils down, it's the lack of relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I want to help people to understand. And I do want people to heal, because in my mind, and this may sound old school, old fashioned, but when women say things like, well, I don't want to just be a mother or just be a wife. Okay, you're the only person who can. Like, God gave you a womb. So, take that and do with it what you will. God gave you a womb. God has a plan. I believe, as a devout Christian, his plan is the only plan.
Mm-hmm.
His plan is the only plan that matters. And I'm going to be frank, when I started doing 90%, like when I started doing what he told me, 90% of my life was not problematic at all. That's the number one question that people ask me, my clients, people that I coach. Like, man, you seem really happy. Your life is pretty easy. Like, I would love that. You don't have any like depression or anxiety or no, I sure don't, because I'm actually living the life God designed me to live.
Amen.
I encourage people to try it.
Yes. Yes.
Try it. But guess what? Man, in their fallen state, in their prideful, full of ego state, they actually believe they're smart enough to run their life. And they're not.
There.
That's why the world is a mess.
Yes.
Yeah. We actually believe we're smart, but we're not.
Mr. Thelma, you're speaking truth to power. Can you please talk a little bit about your two pieces that you wrote, Do Well and Choose Well?
So I wrote 2 books for women because, like I said, my heart is for women. Even my next book, The 21 Feminine Principles, is for women. There is a formula in which I instruct people who are not married, and if they are in search of a spouse. The first part of that formula is 90% of the relationship success, which is choose well.
Mm.
Okay, you're going to put the weight on the front end. And that does not mean you're not going to do the second part, which is do well. That means once you get in the relationship, what are you doing? How are you showing up? How are you maintaining the relationship in a healthy way? But I really tell women specifically, because women suck at choosing, that 90% of their issues is in who they choose. They just cannot seem to choose a really good spouse. And so what women do is they get in the relationship and they try to make up for it by the doing, right? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, 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 it's too late.
Mm.
You didn't chose
That's
this
right.
man and he is who he is.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
you can't outrun it. So, but
Wow.
they try to outrun it and they try to do this and do that and give him a baby and all this other stuff. No,
Oh,
he who he is.
wow. Wow. You're
So I
absolutely
tell
right.
women specifically, women need to choose better. And I know women hear that and they feel a way about it, but that is just old school wisdom. That's
You are
old
100%
school
right.
wisdom. Keep your pants up, keep your panties up, stay off your back,
Yep.
stay off your knees. And you're going to see real quick who you got. You're going to see
That's right.
real quick who you're dealing with.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. And then stop making it about this. So just like women like to feign femininity, sometimes men feign masculinity.
Yeah.
We think the
That is a
most thugged out, like, guy with the braids and the pants down, we think he's masculine. No, he's not. That's not,
that's right.
that's a feigned part of masculinity. That's not true masculinity. But it
That is a
fools
fact.
women. It fools women. It makes women think he's masculine. He's a roughneck girl.
Mhm.
No, he's not. He really is not. So we need to get smarter, right? I never went through a thug phase. I got teased relentlessly in college because I was dating the senator's son, and then I dated the doctor's son, and then there was a lawyer
That's
over here that had a son. I knew what I wanted from the jump.
Mm.
that's right.
I'm not trying to stay in the projects or any of that nonsense. I want a man of substance. I want the corniest, nerdiest. Like, yeah, I
That's
never went
right.
through that
That's
phase.
right. That's right.
Like, what? No, I'm good.
And you,
I'm good.
and you know, it's not on my,
But
a lot of people don't even know what masculinity means. It just means keeping your
they,
word, stoic, non-reactive, thinking before you react. Right? I would
yep.
say it's the feminine men who put their hands on women, yell and scream, and meet their woman
I say
emotionally.
that all the time.
So
Right.
taking account, even when you're not at fault as a man, you take accountability because it's something
That's
that just better
yeah,
prepares you to take more accountability.
that's
So
right.
I don't even think they even like toxic masculinity. I don't even believe in that because how can something so
No.
positive be toxic?
It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not. But again, the men who are feigning this masculine, sleeping with a bunch of women and all this other stuff, like you said, those things are not masculinity in my opinion.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I I try to train women that yes, to some extent, I'm going to try to rewire some of that evolutionary programming. I am
Thank you so
because some
much.
of that stuff is not it's not taking you to long-term mating. It's only
That's
taking you
right.
to short-term mating. And I
That's
always
right.
tell women, you have to be a good gatekeeper. 90% of the negative consequences of sex falls on you. Like why do everybody get to hit? Everybody get to
Everybody,
hit?
Everybody.
Oh my God. I can't, y'all. I just like,
And Miss Anita, you know what I always say? I always say that every woman can short term date. Only the best men can short term date, right? Unattractive man's only opportunity at sex is long term dating, but that's after his
right,
girlfriend is done with her short term dating. So
right.
short term dating
Yep.
was created by women because men have sex
Yep.
with who they can, women
Whoever.
sleep with who they
Exactly.
want. We're not the
Exactly.
same. Miss Anita,
Yeah.
please come back. You have to come back, please.
Yes, I will.
Please. I don't know what's wrong with what's that noise? Oh, Miss
Okay,
Anita,
there we
I
go.
want to say, for more than one reason, I don't even have the words to describe how happy, how fulfilled, how privileged I am to be in your presence. Not only as an
Thank you.
articulate, intelligent, knowledgeable woman, but a black woman. And when I look at you, and you look great. I'm not saying you are like but I'm saying I have that respect for you, like a mom, like an auntie. And I want to
Yeah, thank
say
you. I am the
thank you.
internet's auntie.
That's right,
Yep, I am the internet's auntie. That's
and
what they call
and
me.
Miss Stoudemire, you're so real and authentic. When I sent you a DM, you responded right away.
Hmm.
You were real approachable
Yeah.
and so authentic. Your authenticity is second to no one. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, and I mean this, your presence here was worth gold.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you
I'm
all
humbled.
offering
Thank
and
you,
extending.
Miss
Yes,
Anita.
yes. We got to
Please
get the
tell.
message out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we
Please
got to
tell
get the message
everybody.
out.
Yes, ma'am. Please tell everyone where they can reach you. Talk about everything that you started, so that people can actually tap in with what you have going on.
So my platform is Better Love Movement, and that's pretty much everywhere. So that's my website, that is my YouTube channel, my Instagram, my Facebook. I also have a platform over on school. It's called Single Seeking Soulmate. That is for single men and women who are interested in learning the relationship skills that they're going to need to attract and keep the right person. So we meet every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. People can email me at info@betterlovemovement.com. I'll give you a free introductory session so you can come into the platform. You can look at the course. You can meet with us over Zoom. But it is a wonderful, wonderful group of people who are sincere. Like you said, it's so rare to come across people that are like-minded. So I really love what we're building over there. And let's hope we can turn it into, like, you look, this is so funny. So on Monday night, we did make a connection. We did make a connection. There was a gentleman and a lady, and he was like, "Yep, I want to talk to her after. I want." I was like, "Okay." So if I can just get more of those rolling, like
Love
getting genuine people that are like, they're real and they want something real,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes.
It's funny
it.
because we can use a lot of words, but one of the dirtiest words that a lot of people don't say anymore is love. And I'm always saying, yeah, are you looking for love? Like, why don't we say that? They call it everything but. I'm looking for a companion. I'm looking for a partner. Are you looking for love? Are you looking to be loved? And are you looking to receive love? So that's what I'm trying to get people ready for. I have to give people hope. I do. And I think too many people out here now are very fatalistic. I think they are giving up. They're just like, yeah, it's not going to work out. And most women will be single. Most men will be single. I have 3 young adults.
Mm.
So I have to do this work. I need to get them married. I need to get some grandkids. So I'm going to keep doing this work and find
That's right.
my daughter's in graduate school now. We're looking for a husband.
Congrats.
We
Congrats.
are
That's
looking for a husband. And every time I
that
go,
is
I'm
right.
like, what about him? He in grad school too. What are you getting, an MBA? Yeah, give him a
That's right.
chance. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah,
Like you
yeah.
should.
My daughter is young and beautiful, and I'm like, hey, you need to get it while you got it.
Hmm.
Don't
That's
wait
right.
until you're 35 or 40.
That's
I
right.
married their dad in the nick of time. I was like, yup, right there. That's me right there.
That's it.
Like,
That's it. That's it.
I was smart enough to know that. So I'm telling young women, and they get offended when I say that. And I say, okay, but come see me at 40. Come see me at
Truth
40, and
hurts.
you might be singing a different tune. So yeah, we got to keep trying. We got to keep trying.
God gives his strongest battles to his strongest warriors, and
Apparently.
and whatever you need from me, Miss Stoudemire, I'm here for you in your mission, and I believe in
Awesome.
loyalty over everything. I would like you are. This is your home now. Come whenever you want. Um,
Awesome.
please stay in touch, and whatever you need, Miss Stoudemire, we are here for you. We love you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you, and
Yeah.
we're humbled by your presence. Thank
Thank
you
Thank
you
so
so
you.
much.
much.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Miss
I
Stoudemire.
appreciate you having me on.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime. This is your home.
Yeah.
We love you. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a good night. Thank you so much. This was
Yes.
awesome. I really appreciate the conversation and also having another female point of view on
Oh,
was
good.
very, very refreshing. Yeah,
Okay. And is it normally you and the two of these
it
guys?
Yes,
is.
ma'am.
Yes.
And we
Okay.
bring other people
Good.
on too, but
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, we need this. We need what I call sober voices. We need
mm,
sober voices out there that have some sense, some common sense, And like I said, my hope is that this will grow, that people will start to put two and two together and like, yeah, they made some good points. I'm gonna think about that. So good. Thank you so much. You all have a great night. All right. Okay. Bye bye.